Are there any relationships in your life that you wish were different than they are, better than they are? Well, today we're going to talk about how to take control of your relationships. Today we're going to talk about how to take control of your relationships. So in your life, do you have any relationships right now that are not the way that you would prefer that they be? Do you have relationships with people in your life that are not behaving the way that you would like them to behave, that are not interacting and relating to you the way that you would like them to interact and to relate? Well, I'm going to give you the solution. The first thing, though, to remember is, because this topic is about how to take control of your relationship. From other videos that we've done, we know that there are only three things that we can control. We can control our conscious thoughts, our emotions, and our behavior. So how can I control another person in a relationship that I'm in with? The truth is, I can't. So what if the relationship is not the way that I want it to be? What can I do about that? I'm going to give you an equation to help you kind of see and understand what I'm going to teach today. So let's say that in this relationship, and I'm going to say this is a relationship between me and my spouse. And let's say that I'm a 2 in the relationship and my spouse is a 2. And so our relationship is a 4. But I want our relationship to be a 10. So what would we need to do in order to make our relationship become a 10? Well, I could become a 5, and my spouse could become a 5, and that would make our relationship a 10. But again, what if my spouse doesn't want to change? Well, I could become an 8, and my spouse could remain a 2, and the relationship would then be a 10. But I may be thinking, but that's not what I want, right? Why should I be the one that has to do all of the changing in order to get the relationship that I want? Well, we can think about that belief right there. If this is what I really want, then why would it matter if I do all of the changing and my partner doesn't change? If the outcome that I get is still what I want, why does it matter? Maybe there are some things then about this person that they do or don't do that I don't like. So the truth is, maybe I don't want this to be a 10. I just want this person to be different than they are. So I can look at that, and that's a total separate thing. But I could ask myself, if this person is doing or not doing something in the relationship and I'm staying in the relationship with them, why am I doing that? Because what I'm truly saying is I want to be in a relationship with somebody, but I want them to be different than they are. So instead of me making any changes in my own life, I want them to change so that I can stay the same. So think about that. But here's the other truth about this is if I become an 8 in the relationship, there is no way that this person is going to remain a 2. It can't happen. Because if I change the way that I interact with this person, if I change the way that I talk, if I change the way that I behave, it's going to cause them to behave differently. So let me give you an example. If me and my spouse have this pattern of whenever let's say I forget, I don't take the garbage out, and that's my job to take the garbage out. And when I don't do it, then my wife gets upset at me and reminds me or nags me that I didn't take the garbage out. And my response to that was I get defensive and I start arguing back. And so when I get defensive, maybe I say some mean things towards her, and now she gets upset and she starts arguing back with me and raising her voice, and then I raise my voice, and we have this pattern of we argue back and forth and escalate it to the point that we both get angry and upset at each other, and then we distance ourselves from one another. Let's say that I don't take the trash out, so I'm the one that isn't changing. Let's say that my wife is the one that wants to change, and so she wants to become an 8. And so I forget to take the trash out, and she could do something different than she's ever done in the past. One, let's say that she just chooses to take the trash out herself. Well, if she does that and then she doesn't say anything about it to me, what's the chance that we're going to get into an argument over me not taking the trash out? Probably not going to happen at all. The other thing that may happen is when I notice or see my wife taking the trash out, there's two things that could happen. One, I may think, wow, that's great. If I don't do what my wife wants me to do, then she's going to eventually do it for me. So I could start to do less and less around the home, and my wife might start to do more. So instead of being a 2, I may become a 1, or I could become a 0, but that's still changing, right? So I could go that direction, and if I move in that direction, my wife may realize, man, Randy really is not the kind of guy that I want to be living with. This is an easy decision. You know, I'm doing everything by myself anyway. What do I need him around for? And go off on her own. Or I could move the other direction, where I could recognize that my wife stepped up and did some of the things that I know that I'm responsible for, and I may start remembering to do it more on my own. I may even notice other things around the house that need to be done. I may become a 3, or I could become a 4. But the truth is, if I change my side of the equation, the other side of the equation will change. We just don't have control over whether it will change in the direction that we want or the direction that we don't want, but it will change. Here's what I do know. None of us like being told what to do. And whenever anyone is trying to change us or trying to get us to do something that we don't want to do, there's this natural tendency to resist. So oftentimes when we are focused on somebody else changing, so I'm unhappy in the relationship because of what the other person is doing, so I focus on them, I want them to change. When we do that, oftentimes we invite more of what we don't want. So when I focus on somebody and I'm saying, look, you're a 2, I want you to become a 5, sometimes we're going to create resistance and that person is going to stay a 2, or they could go in the other direction. Whereas if we accept the other person for who they are and where they're at, and we put the focus on ourselves and becoming the best that we can be, being like Gandhi talks about, which is being the change that we want to see in the universe. So I start taking care of the things that are influencing me to be unhappy in the relationship. I take care of them myself. I accept the other person for who they are and where they are, and I can express love to them. What we then do is we invite change, or we create a setting or an environment in which this person feels safe, the defenses are lowered, this person is maybe more willing to look at themselves and to identify the things that they could improve in, and then have a desire to want to make those changes. So the way to take control over our relationships is to take control over ourselves, to look at the things that are making us unhappy, and instead of focusing on others and trying to change the things that we can't control, we bring it back to ourselves, say, what can I do differently? What can I change in order to give me the outcomes that I want? And by doing so, we're going to create an environment that allows the person that we're in a relationship with to be more likely to create or become that change that we really want to see. Thanks for joining us again today. Hopefully you found this information useful to you in helping you have ideas of how to improve the relationships in your life.